Okay, good morning, everyone. So, welcome to our team. We're Team Chocolate. We're going to be going over the Theobroma cacao. So, Theobroma is the species of the plant we're going to be covering today. Cacao is the actual plant which creates chocolate. It was used to make chocolate. So, the authors today are me, Austin Hunsaker, Nicholas Smiley, and Cassandra Gardner. So, we're going to have 3 videos today, and each one of us is going to basically have a video explaining our portion, and they're all going to go in order. So this is going to be the first of 3 videos. So without further ado, we're going to jump into part 1. Okay, so what we will cover today. So first we're going to start off with a little anatomy of the cacao plant. Then we're going to move into the climate and habitat, domestication, history, and cultural influences. Just a small one thing I want to bring up. So all of our references on the actual book, which is going to be The True History of Chocolate by Coe, we all had the digital version. So we're not going to have the page number, just the last name and the year. Okay, so here's an image right now of the actual cacao plant. So right there are those pods. They're called pods, and inside are seeds, which is the cacao seed is what is used to make chocolate. Take reference to the leaves on there. We're going to go over them also, and also the actual tree. So I just wanted to be able to give you guys an image so you can kind of picture something while we're going over it today. So we're going to jump right into some of the nitty-gritty on the anatomy of the Theobroma cacao. So the plant normally grows from 13 to 26 feet, depending on different factors. The leaves of the plant are lobed and smooth, and they range from 25 to 35 centimeters in length and 7 to 8 centimeters wide. So kind of like in that image, the leaves aren't large like a large bamboo leaf. They're smaller. So the cacao tree's leaf tips are long and drawn out, and this allows water to drip into the plant. Next, the plant also produces small flowers that are normally pink, grouped together, and under the trunk of the tree. So, an interesting fact, those flowers actually grow all year round. Alright, so continued on the anatomy, the cacao plant, like I said, produces those flowers all year round. The cacao plant needs to be pollinated, which creates the large fruits the plant produces. The insect that is needed to pollinate the plant is called the midge. After pollination, the small flowers turn into large fruits. So during my research through the book and different sources, I found that it is actually a very low percentage of actual successful pollinations. So in order for a plant to be pollinated a lot, to be able to be successful, I'll get into later where the plant is actually at mainly, where it's grown. But there needs to be a lot of midges and a lot of this climate in order for it to be grown, because one and done is not good for the midge. It's got to continue pollinating to be successful. Next, so the cacao plant produces pods, which protect the cacao seeds used to make delicious chocolate beverages and treats. So like in that image, those shells have to be broken up, and then inside are those basically those beans or seeds that are used to make the chocolate. So here's an image right here of the midge. That way you can kind of picture, what it is. All right, so the seeds must be dried and fermented to create the delicious chocolate treats we will discuss in the lesson, such as hot chocolate. Later in the lesson, we're going to go over all the different countries and basically what is their signature chocolate drink or food. So here's a video. Since I brought up fermentation, I brought up a video that talks about the fermentation process of the cocoa bean and how it goes. So it's only about a 3-minute video, so I didn't want to make it too long, but here you go. Watch this. Alright, so I hope you guys all enjoyed that video. Definitely made me a little hungry for chocolate, seeing all those chocolate bars. Obviously, that's more of a modern way in which they fermented it, and it being originated in 400 BC, the actual domestication of the plant, it has came quite a ways, and over the years changing in many different aspects. So we're going to go ahead and continue. All right, so we're going to do a quick check on learning. So I'm going to go over 5 questions real quick. What species is the cacao plant? How tall does the average tree grow? What insects pollinate the plant? What color are flowers the cacao plant produces? And what part of the cacao plant is used to make? So go ahead and pause my video if you'd like to take a minute to think about those questions. And the answers. So Theobroma is the species, 1326 feet is the height. Insect is the minge. The flowers are pink. And the part of the plant used to make chocolate is the seeds. Alright, so the climate and habitat. The cacao plant originated nearly 2,000 years ago in the tropical rainforest in South America. Around 400 BC, it was first domesticated actually by the Olmecs, and the Aztecs were basically the two, we'll say, co-founders of domestication of the plant. So the plant grows best in tropical conditions, which have strong light and high humidity. So 20 degrees above the equator and 20 degrees below the equator is the sweet spot for growing this plant. All right, so the cacao plant was originally discovered, it was originally domesticated in Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana, Peru, and Venezuela. Since the plant's domestication, the plant has been harvested in Africa rainforests, for an interesting fact. Over the years, you will learn today cacao has been used for many different uses, such as medicine, religious uses, currency, and obviously recreational enjoyment, like we do, most of us. I don't think too many of us are trading chocolate bars for favors, but maybe. The plant was originally reserved only for the royal and wealthy individuals within ancient tribes, such as, like I said, the Olmecs. And the plant was originally referred to as the food of the gods. So quick check on learning again. What is the nickname the Olmecs referred to the plant as? Just went over it. What year was the cacao plant first domesticated? And then a true or false. Today, cacao plants are harvested in Africa. What type of environment does the cacao plant thrive in? So go ahead and pause my video if you'd like to take a minute. And the answers. It was known as the food of the gods by the Olmecs. It was first domesticated in about 400 BC. It was created, it is harvested in Africa, And what type of environment does the cacao plant thrive in? Like I said, tropical, humid weather, right on that equator of our world. Alright, so we're going to go over some domestication, talking about the wild cacao plant and its movement throughout the world in its early years. We'll go over history later. Now that we've covered the anatomy of the plant, we're going to go over the domestication, like I said. All right, so you might ask, where did the first wild cacao plant originate? So this is very argued about online throughout all my research, and the best answer I found was from Cheeseman in 1944 in an article he wrote that was peer-reviewed. So the Amazon basin near the Colombia-Ecuador border is the most probable origin of the wild cacao plant, specifically near the eastern side of the Andes Mountains. So that was where the wild... it was not first domesticated there. That's where it was wild. And so there was 2 routes in which it traveled. One leading north and one leading west, which Cheeseman 1944 also said. Okay, so now that we know that it moved, we might think, but how did the plant move? Was it in the wind? Like dandelions? No, it was actually, moved by Indians migrating from Central America and southern Mexico. So on those 2 different routes. Alright, so first domestication. As previously stated, the Olmecs people were the first ones to domesticate and grow the cacao plant. This is proven by drawings acquired from the sites where the Olmecs lived. The images show the stories of the people cultivating and consuming the plant. So basically there's images on the walls of them cutting the pods open, them drinking it, descriptions of the same food of the gods. That's what they actually called it because they loved it so much. It was almost seen as addictive. Alright, so what is the difference between the wild and modern cacao plant? So the plants are actually very similar. Both the ancient and modern plant need to grow near the equator, require tropical environments, and need to be pollinated by the midge. Alright, so we're going to go on a quick check on learning. How many different routes is the cacao believed to have traveled from its origin to wild site? And that is 2. I'm sorry, gave you a freebie on that one, on the answer. Let me see if I can hold the answers on the next 2. So where was the wild cacao plant believed to originate? And who is believed to have transported the wild cacao to its first domesticated locations? So go ahead and pause my video if you'd like. And answers, like I said, 2. And where the wild cacao plant believed to originate? The Colombia-Ecuador border, eastern side of the Andes Mountains. And who is believed to have transported the wild cacao to its first domesticated location? And that is the Indians. So that is about the end of my portion of this presentation. I'd like to leave you with my favorite fun fact that I learned reading the book, The True History of Chocolate by Coe, was actually the Catholic Church at the time believed that at the time of the origination, so around the 16th century, said that the plant was the chocolate was so addictive that that the Catholics couldn't consume it. It was for a very short amount of time, and obviously they realized it's not a big deal and they can enjoy the plant. So thank you guys for listening to my portion of the presentation on the cacao plant, and go ahead and click on the next video, which Nicholas Smiley will take you through. Thank you very much.